Hello dear students, welcome to my class. I am Shoaib, a political science teacher. So today I am going to teach you the organs of the government. And within the organs of the government, first topic we'll discuss is the separation of power. Okay, so if you have not subscribed my channel till now, please do subscribe it and share it among your friends so that it can reach to the unreached and they can get help from the tutorials which I regularly upload in my channel. So let's start. So separation of power. First of all, we need to understand what is the meaning of separation of power and why it is necessary for separating the powers of the three organs of the government. So as you know that there are three organs of the government. The first one is legislature, executive and judiciary. Legislature is a law-making body, okay, rule making. Executive executes the order, or we can say rule application. Rules which are made by legislature are applied by executive. And judiciary dispenses justice, or rules are education. Rules education, this means rules are properly being followed or not. If anyone violates the rule or law, will be punished by the judiciary. Okay, so all these three organs are very important. So now the first thing we need to understand why these three are separated. Is there any link between all these three organs or not? Okay, so why there was a need of separation of power? So it has been mentioned that why separation of power is needed. The first question arises, why separation of power is needed? So very simple answer, the separation of power is needed in order to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. In order to secure the rights and freedoms of the people. Okay, so as I have told you over here, legislature, executive, judiciary. Legislature is the first organ, executive is the second organ, and judiciary is the third. All these three organs are very important organs of the government. Okay, so now according to this theory of separation of power, what we can understand is that the theory of separation of power holds that these three organs must be kept separate from one another, because any combination, if these three organs are combined together, this can lead to tyranny and it can be very harmful, and it will be a very dangerous for the individual's liberty. If these three organs, okay, are brought into one single hand, then the power can become corrupt and absolute dictatorship can exist. Okay, so that is why it is very important to separate these three powers within their jurisdiction, so that it can prevent the government from becoming arbitrary or despotic. Government from becoming arbitrary or despotic. Okay, so now we can understand that government, in order, why it is so, because government can work systematically and efficiently only when each of its organs exercises its own power unhindered by other two organs. If it is kept separate without the interference of the other organs, then the government can work smoothly without any obstacles, without any hindrances. Thus, we can understand that theory of separation of power. Thus, the theory of separation of power strongly advocates that for keeping the government restrained and limited, as well as for protecting the liberty of the people, the functioning of the government should be performed by its three separate organs, that is legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, this is very important. So why, in order to make it more and more simple, so I have written it over here, you can see here. So in simple term, in a simple words, my dear, what is the theory of separation of power? You can see here, the theory of separation of power, you can see here, separation of power is the theory which advocates that the three organs, you can see here, three, okay, advocate the three organs or the three functions of the government should be performed. Legislative is a one function, executive is a different function, judiciary has different functions. So all these three functions must be performed separately by these separate three organs. That is why these three organs are kept separately. So legislature will do its work, executive will do its work, and judiciary will do its work. So if all these three are brought together, then that will be a threat to the liberty of the people of the country. Okay, so hope you have understood this part. Okay, so theory of separation of power is very important for us to understand. Simply going through the three organs is not important, but why it is separated, that we need to know. So these are separated in order to protect the liberty of the people, and in order to empower the government to work smoothly without any hindrances as well as obstacles. Okay, so the views of Montesquieu, one of the political scientists, one of the political philosopher, he has mentioned in one of his book, Montesquieu, in his book, the name of the book is The Spirit of Laws. The Spirit of Laws, which was published in the year 1748, it is mentioned in that book what he has observed. He says that when the legislative and executive powers are united in the same person or in the same body of magistrates, there can be no liberty. Once again, if these two, legislative powers and executive powers, are united in same person, then there can be no liberty. There can be no liberty. Okay, and definitely judiciary will become meaningless. That is why legislature, executive, judiciary is kept separated far away, or we can say judiciary is kept far away from legislature and executive, so that judiciary can dispense justice independently, okay, without coming under the pressure of legislature and executive. That is why judiciary all over the country, all over the world, my dear, is independent organ. Okay, nobody can pressurize judiciary to do its work according to their wishes. That is very important. Okay, so this is the theory about separation of power. Once again, the separation of power deals with the separation of these three organs of the government separately. Okay, legislature will do its legislative work, executive will do its executive work, judiciary will do its judicial work. Okay, so they cannot come together, though there should be a cordial relation between legislature and executive. Okay, but judiciary must be kept far away from legislature and executive. The best example of separation of power we get it in USA. The best example we can see in US Constitution, though directly nothing is mentioned about this separation of power in the US Constitution, but the people of USA adopted the theory of separation of power as the keel of their constitution. That is there. Let me give you the example. In the presidential system that is in America, legislature is a lawmaking body, executive, that is the president who is the head of the country, he has nothing to do with legislature. Okay, but if you take the example of India, Prime Minister is a member of the parliament, whereas the President of America is not the member of the parliament. He is elected separately by a body known as PEC. So I am not saying that they should not have a good relation. There should be a cordial relation between legislature and executive to function smoothly. There should be a good relation. Okay, but relation does not mean that they will interfere in the working of the respective organs. Let the legislature do its work, let the executive do its work. There should not be any obstacles. They can move side by side in a very cordial relation. So best example we get it in USA, where it is where they follow the theory of separation of power. Okay, though American president is very powerful, but he is not so powerful that he can take such decision which is against the country. Okay, that is why in order to check the president, legislature is there to check on the powers of the president. That is also very important to note over here. So this is all about the theory of separation of power. So now today we'll discuss about executive. Today we'll discuss about executive, and after that we'll discuss about legislature and judiciary. Okay, so let's start the executive. So which is one of the most important organ of the government. So today in this topic, once again we'll discuss about the meaning, definition, classification of executives. Okay, nominal and real executive, single executive, plural executive, and hereditary and elected executive one by one. So for the better understanding of the chapter executive, we need to understand this classification as well. Okay, so in a very simple term, we can say that executive can be discussed in two connotations, a broader as well as a narrow connotation. So in the broader connotation, executive includes all the functionaries. All the functionary means a political executive as well as non-political executive, the entire body of executives which are to implement the laws and to execute the orders passed by the executive, which includes political executives as well as non-political executives. Non-political executives are those who are known as civil servants, or we can call them as bureaucrats. So both together in a broader connotations. Okay, if we try to discuss in a narrow connotation executive, it means that the political leaders, only the political leaders who head the government departments, formulate the policies, okay, and supervises the implementation of laws and policies of the government. So this is how broader connotation and a narrow connotation. In the broader connotation, we include all the functionaries of the executives, including the political, non-political, okay, includes all, each and every one who is involved in the execution of the day-to-day working of the government. Okay, and the narrow connotations, only the political executives, those who are elected by the people. Okay, they are the one who head the government. Okay, they formulate the policies of the government and they supervises the implementation of the laws of the government. So we have done the meaning. So meaning of executive is a lawmaking. Okay, and now definition. We'll do the definition. So accordingly, three definitions are here with me, written by J.W. Garner, Gettel as well as Gilchrist. So I'm going to choose one best for your understanding, that is by Gilchrist. According to Gilchrist, executive is that branch of government which carries out or executes the will of the people as formulated in law. It is the pivot around which the actual administration of the state revolves. So here also we came to know that it is the executive around which the entire work of the administration revolves. So many definitions are there. You can choose any of the definition. If you are asked to write down define executive, then you can choose any of that. Whichever you find it's better and easy for you to memorize, you can do that. Okay, so definition we have already done. Now classification of executive. The first one is nominal and the real executive. So nominal and real. There is a difference between nominal and real executive. So nominal executive are the ones known also as the constitutional head of the country. Nominal just for namesake. They are not chosen by the people. They are not elected by the people. Okay, so in many of the countries, two executives are there. Even in our country also, in India, we have nominal executive as well as a real executive. But in America, that is in USA, there is only single executive. That means the president is both the nominal as well as the real head of the country. Nominal as well as the real executive of our country. But in India, president is elected indirectly by the people of India and he possesses the nominal head of the country. He is the constitutional head of the country, whereas the real executive is the prime minister and the council of ministers. Okay, like if you talk about Britain, the king or the queen and the prime minister and his cabinet, okay, they are the real executives. Like the monarch in British parliamentary system is a figurehead. Monarch of in Britain in a parliamentary system is a figurehead. Okay, and the real powers lies with the prime minister and the cabinet. If you, I can give you the example of Bhutan also. Bhutan is a monarchical democracy. Monarch of Bhutan is the nominal head of the country. Okay, whereas the real power lies with the prime minister and the council of ministers. The same case is with India also. India has a parliamentary form of government. Okay, and the president is there, who is the executive. That means who is the constitutional head, or we can say who is the nominal head of our country, as the constitution portrays. Okay, then If you talk about the real executives, are the ones who have been given the real powers by the people of the country through elections. In a parliamentary system, people vote, people elect the members, and the members form the government, and the members choose one head as the prime minister that possesses real power. That is why we can say prime minister and the council of ministers are the real executive heads of our country, whereas president is the nominal head of our country. Nominal means just for namesake, or we can say constitution has made the president as the nominal executive of the country. The country is run in the name of the president, but the real power lies with the prime minister and the council of ministers. Same case is with the UK also. Okay. Then next one we have is the single executive and the plural executive. Single and plural. Plural means more than one. So single executive, my dear, that means the single executive power is concentrated in the hands of a particular individual, one individual or a group of individual. One individual or a group of individuals together will be called as one. Okay, so administrative functions are carried out under the leadership and direction of the single executive. And the best example I can give you, Hitler's rule. In Germany, there was a rule of Hitler's rule in Nazi Germany, and another example is Mussolini's rule in fascism in Italy. Okay, they were the correct examples of single executives. They were the one who completely centralized the powers in their hand, and they ruled without allowing the people's freedom. Okay, single executive, the most that means apt disadvantage of a single executive is that the freedoms of the people are curtailed and the power is completely centralized. The one person holds the entire power. The will of a ruler is the law of the land in a single executive. And as I give you the example, Hitler, okay, he was the ruler of Germany and his party's name was Nazi party. Okay, then another one is Mussolini, his party was fascist party. Okay, now all this Nazism and fascism is already uprooted from the world. Okay, so that is single executive. Okay, now next one we have is plural executive. Okay, plural means more than one. When there are two or more people together, or a number of people in one group, that can be called as plural executive. So opposite of a single executive, the opposite of single executive is the plural executive. Okay, so in this system, in a plural system, my dear, the real power is vested in the hands of equals. Lot of people are there, so equals. The institution that consists of more than one individual for ruling the administration, okay, is known as plural executive. Okay, so the example I can give you, like in Athens, there were many independent rulers. In Athens, that is in Greece, number of independent rulers were there. In ancient times, power rested on two councils, that is in Rome. Okay, plural executives is there in Switzerland also. In Switzerland, administrative power is vested in federal council, okay, composed of 7 members of equal states. Okay, so these are the examples of plural executive, which today we don't require to study in a modern democracy, but in Switzerland it exists even today. Now the third one we have is a hereditary executive. The third one we have is a hereditary executive. So hereditary means after father, son. After the son, his son will be the that means he will possess the real powers or the hereditary powers. Okay, so in the past, okay, rulers possess hereditary rights. These rulers were known as hereditary nominated rulers. Before emergence of modern political system, rulers were nominated from hereditary sources. Today we are in a modern system. Today hereditary system is not there. But even today, example I can give you from Britain, okay, UK, hereditary system still is continued in that country. Okay, suppose I am the king. So after me, my son will be the king. My successor will be the king. Okay, but that is not at all allowed in our country, because as per our constitution hereditary system is not at all there. Okay, that is hereditary executive. Got it? Then the another one, the last one we have is, this one is very very important, that is elected executive. The executives which are elected by the people, though nominal or the real. When we talk about nominal or real, so here in the case of India, the nominal executive, that is the president of our country, is also elected by the people indirectly, and the real executive, that is the prime minister and the council of ministers, are also elected by the people of India directly. So elected executives are the ones who are elected by the people of the country, either through direct election or through indirect election. Got it? Direct election, indirect election, I think you have the idea about that. So direct election, where the people are involved directly, whereas in indirect election the representatives of the people are the one who elect the president or the vice president on behalf of the people of the country. That is known as indirect election. Okay, though direct election or indirect election, that comes under elected executive. So the prime minister of our country is the elected executive, the president of our country is the elected executive, though indirectly elected. The president of America is also elected executive. Got it? So that is difference between hereditary and elected executive. In hereditary system, after the death of a father, the son becomes the ruler, or he possesses the power of his father, whereas in elected executive, suppose for example the president of America is there, after the death of a president, his son cannot become the president. In our country, if the president dies or retires or is impeached from the chair, then his son cannot become the president. Though if his son or any of his dear ones, if they want to be the president, they have to follow the parliamentary procedure like the others follow it in order to contest the election or to become the president of our country. Suppose the prime minister of our country is there, right? Though he is okay, let us not take the example of our country. Okay, suppose I am the prime minister of our country, right? So if I resign, if I die, or if anything happens to me, okay, the prime minister's chair remains vacant, my son cannot become the prime minister. That is not possible in an elected executive. Okay, that is possible only in hereditary executive. Okay, my son can become the prime minister, I can nominate, I can decide, okay, after me my son. In a monarchical system, Raja was there, after death of Raja, his son becomes the right? So this way, my dear, it followed in the past, but right now in a modern democracy, my dear, in modern world, my dear, we don't have this. We reject this. Hereditary system is rejected and we go for elected executive. Okay, this is also not there. Okay, plural executive to some extent in some of the parts of the world we have, but this one we have nominal executive, real executive even today is there in our country. Okay, so nominal, the president, who is the nominal head of our country, and the real executive are those who possess real powers because they are elected directly by the people of the country. So hope you all have understood this part. So this much for today. So in the next class we'll discuss about the functions of the executives, okay, one by one. Okay, so till then please go through this tutorial for a better understanding. So we'll meet again in the next class. Till then, take care, stay safe, bye bye.